5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Sports on Tap is brought to you by Go To Pro Plumbing, Land and Sea Motorsports, On the Bay Customs Boutique and Cafe.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
I don't know what we're yelling about!
I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
Loud noises!
Not a game.
This is the first time in my life I'm glad I'm dead.
We talking about practice, man.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?
65.
63. Knew it, I'm surrounded by assholes.
Kick the tires and light the fires, Big Daddy.
We are tonight's entertainment.
We're here to fuck shit up.
Sports the way it should be. Nothing sugar-coated, we loaded with all the information you wanted. From legends to prospects, nothing's off limits. Chris and Joe be taking on all topics with no stopping. They keep it rolling and going and ball hopping at a rate that's hard stopping. With music and straw dropping, they getting it in. Sports center competition, man, they get it to win. This ain't a fluke, from Carolina to Duke, from MSU to Michigan. You'll know if you listening, if you ain't, you missing it. All the excitement, they shock like a thundercloud and rock and lightning. Get it together, you know ain't nobody better. Bring heat than cold weather. You better put on a sweater, you better just let it go when all come and attack. Sit back, relax, let's cover the song tag.
We'll do it live! Fuck it!
Welcome to this week's edition of Sports on Tap. I am Chris Scott alongside Joe Waddell and Frank Gigotta. Gentlemen, how are we?
Hello.
How's it going?
Yeah, going well. I can't complain too much.
Glad to be here, man.
I could, but nobody would give a shit.
Yeah, you're probably. I know. I wouldn't. I'm fairly certain Joe wouldn't. So.
Yeah, that's probably probably pretty factual, actually.
Well,
I love to see how people react when you say that, though.
well, yeah. Joe, that's Joe. It's just what it is. About this weekend of football is pretty good, especially for you, Frank. I know, it was a battle between two of your favorite teams and stuff like that, and I get it. But
I'm gonna be completely honest. I slept through the entire game.
it's probably a good thing. I don't think you missed a whole hell of a lot.
You didn't miss much at all.
No,
truthfully.
And like my thoughts of the game, I'll keep it pretty simple. The Lions played a team worse than them, and they beat them. That's what you should do. And, stop acting like it's a big thing that you beat the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road. I know it's tough to win on the road in the NFL. I understand that. But stop acting like it's a huge thing. You did what you were supposed to do.
I was also...
And that's it. Just leave it at that.
Very interested with that game because the one thing I've heard, maybe you guys have heard it too, the Stafford facts that they love to throw around, is now Stafford has thrown a touchdown against every team.
Yeah, he has.
My question... Why did it take so long to throw one against Jacksonville?
Well, I mean, how often have they played?
I was going to say, how many times have they played Jacksonville? That's my question.
Yeah, I don't know if they've played.
If the answer is at a minimum once, why are we still talking about this today?
I will say one thing about that game though. One of the passes that Stafford had, that kind of sidearm submarine pass that he completed, I believe it was Galladay.
Yeah, his wife said that's how he threw diapers.
Did she really?
She really did.
Wow.
I think if that was Patrick Mahomes doing that, everybody and their brother in the national media would have creamed their pants.
Oh God, yeah.
They would have slobbered all over him.
Oh yeah.
But since it was Matt Stafford doing it, it's like, what the hell is he doing?
Well,
you don't hear anything about it.
They're that's unconventional. Why is he throwing it like that?
Mahomes does this shit all the time. It's like he's the greatest quarterback ever.
But I look at that situation and I go, that is almost why everybody says what they say about Stafford, because he can do things like that. He just doesn't.
He can. I think there was a point in time where he tried to do stuff like that too much.
Right.
Yeah.
But in
he tried to be very far-vest.
Right.
In certain situations, it's okay to be Rich Gannon. You don't want to always throw sidearm.
Right.
It didn't work out for Gannon when he always threw sidearm.
Nope.
No.
But every once in a while,
yeah,
it's a really good thing to do. So having that in your arsenal is pull it out every now and then.
I've hit the point where I believe that Matt Stafford is not looked at nationally as well as he should. I think he's gotten a lot of criticism that he doesn't deserve, and I used to give him criticism. But I think at this point, I've hit the level of he is a better quarterback than what has shown because of the team he's on.
Yeah.
And I used to bash him. No, he doesn't always make the right decisions.
Nope.
And there's plenty of times in clutch time where he doesn't make the right decisions, which makes it even worse.
But fourth quarter comebacks.
Right.
Fourth quarter comebacks.
But with that being said, I do
Our-
believe he's one of the better quarterbacks that doesn't get enough recognition, and he kind of takes a lot of criticism that's undeserved. Some of it is deserved, but there's a good portion of it that's not deserved.
I mean, he's not as good as people have made him out to be, and he's not as bad as everybody's made him out to be.
See, and
he's in that middle ground somewhere.
Right.
Like sometimes he can look like an all-world quarterback. Other times he looks like fucking Mitch Trubisky. He looks terrible.
Right.
See, I could have gone with Baker there, and I didn't, buddy. Just out of respect for you.
Well, we'll get to that one in a little bit.
We will get to that one.
We'll get to that one.
I'm sure that'll be a discussion.
Yes.
I have. Let's just tell the listeners out there and everybody listening.
We had a little bit
live.
of a debate yesterday.
So we had a debate.
I'm gonna add something into this conversation about Baker as well.
We had a little bit of a debate, but also I have now created a game that we're gonna play tonight.
Okay.
The guys don't really know exactly what's coming up.
No idea.
But I'm gonna play a little game with them and see if they can pick out.
Look, who's the quarterback?
Yes.
Oh, you're gonna throw stats out?
Yes. Because I've compared multiple quarterbacks over their first 3 seasons.
Right.
Now, they're not all the same amount of games. I just did 3 seasons.
And this is 3 seasons of
first 3
current
seasons.
quarterbacks, or is this career-wise?
Career-wise.
Okay.
So it's some guys that are still playing.
So we might have like Montana or Young or somebody like that.
Very possible.
Okay.
Very possible. So, and I'll give you the list of quarterbacks, and I'm going to throw out a stat, and I'm going to ask you whose it is and who's the leader in that stat when it comes to that.
See, now what I will say to Chris is this is what happens when we disagree with Joe. This is what we have to look forward to the next show.
I'm fine with it. Like that's fine.
I thought it would be fun. I thought it would be fun.
Joe comes into the courtroom and Joe has all of his evidence ready to tell us why we're idiots for not agreeing with him.
No, listen.
There's also a reason though that we say these things are opinions.
Right.
Because factually, yes. I actually did yesterday go look up some of his stats, not to the degree that you have, but when I say that I just need to see more out of him before I fully buy in, that's just an opinion.
But that's a fair opinion.
Right.
That's a completely fair opinion.
When I say he's... Anybody else hear that? Okay, we got Fast and the Furious outside now. But that threw me off completely.
I can see that.
When we sit there and discuss this stuff, the other thing you have to take into account, Joe, is sometimes it is really fun to get under your skin.
Oh, I know. I know. And yesterday was one of those days where I was just irritated at everything, so I decided to fire back a little bit.
And that's why I backed off the argument side of it.
Well,
I was like, okay, we're not really turning this into an argument.
The whole thing started is I found a meme on the interweb. And I sent it to Joe and Frank, and it was
on the
interweb. And honestly, it was a funny meme. It
was funny.
It had a picture of Baker Mayfield and said touchdown passes 1, progressive commercials 12.
Yeah.
And I just found that funny, so I sent it to both of them.
It was funny.
Then it escalated incredibly quickly, which in a way that I did not see happening.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like you've realized it doesn't take much to get Joe and I to start arguing.
It really doesn't. I'm like, guys, man, I just thought it was a funny fucking meme.
For as close as we are, it is so easy for the two of us to misunderstand what the other one says and start arguing about it.
Well, and in the same breath, it really wasn't an argument. It was, I was already irritated, and instead of laughing at it, because I did think it was funny, and I had actually seen it before you sent it. And instead of just laughing it off and going, yeah, all it took to set me off yesterday, it took one thing. All it took was one thing, and it was, yeah, that's your quarterback. And it wasn't you.
I didn't say that.
It wasn't you. It wasn't you. This fucker says
But
it
I
all.
told you 6 days prior that those words at some point would haunt you. I didn't
Yeah.
realize it would be 6 days later that I got to use it to piss you
But
off.
but the only thing is, it hasn't haunted me because I bought this jersey a long time ago and I wear it constantly to say I backed this kid because of reasons we'll get into later.
Right.
And that's just the way it is. Yes, for right now he's my quarterback, but I've also told you I will criticize him for
Your judgment on him is fair. I
for
will
the-
say you don't play favorites with him.
for the reasons he deserves to be criticized for reasons that he deserves to be criticized for, which is the main criticism of him should be he came out like gangbusters in his rookie year.
Yep.
Had one of the best seasons of a rookie quarterback, and yet hasn't progressed. He stayed at that level.
Yeah.
He's
Even with more
plateaued.
talent around him.
He's plateaued.
But the one thing I will give him, though, and this is the one thing that I did say about him yesterday, is the number one thing he needed to do was mature as a person.
Yes.
And he seemingly has done that.
He's come a long way in that way. He needs to continue more. The areas that he hasn't progressed in is his play. He's basically plateaued from his rookie season. But with that being said, I'm critical of that, and I've said if he doesn't make progress this year, they need to dump him and move on. And that's me being a big fan of him saying that. But I will also say that I think sometimes that criticism is also a little bit unfair. In 2.5 years, he's had 4 head coaches and 4 offensive coordinators on a shit franchise that is trying to turn it around. Now, that's a lot for a young guy to go through as a quarterback, no matter who you are. And I think not everybody takes that into consideration. People hate him for his attitude, people hate him for his arrogance, and people hate him for the team he plays on. So he gets extra criticism.
But he brought that on himself.
Some of it, yes, I agree.
Like the arrogance and the cockiness. I don't have an issue with arrogance or cockiness or confidence, whatever you want to call it, as long as you back it up on the field. But if you're inconsistent on the field and you're still like that, then I have a big fucking problem with it, because you're not that guy. You shouldn't have that type of attitude. That's just the way I feel about it. Now, if you back it up, be the most cocky motherfucker you can possibly be. I don't care.
I agree.
Just be that guy. If you're that guy, be that guy.
When Mike Vick was in his heyday, and he's walking around, he's got the big old chains on and everything. This is when we don't know the dogfighting shit's going on.
Right.
I can't stand the guy, but the way he played, it's like, you know what? Fuck it. I can't say anything about this dude.
Right. Just like Deion back in the day.
Yeah, Deion, same way.
Like
that's why I love Deion. Deion's one of my favorite players to ever play the game.
Right.
And that's why I love T.O.
But he backed it up.
T.O.
They
Exact
backed it
same
up.
thing. Ocho.
Yeah, those guys backed it up. And like I said, if you're going to back it up on the field, you can talk, say whatever you want to do it. I don't care. But if you're inconsistent and you're not to that level, just shut your mouth.
And that word right there is what I need out of him and a bunch of other players. It's not just him. Give me some sort of consistency.
Right.
If you're going to be that player you were your first year, be that consistently.
Right.
If you're going to be this guy that you were last week, that's fine. Be it consistently.
And
nobody wants him to be that guy consistently.
No, but if that's what you're going to be,
right,
then just be that.
Right.
So we know that it's time to move on.
Right. But even watching my quarterback, I'm frustrated with him. It's like, dude, you have an absolute cannon for a fucking arm.
Talking about Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, yeah.
I didn't even realize they were the 5:00 game yesterday. So when you said plant your feet, I was like, what the fuck is this guy talking about
seriously,
now?
Like you have the first play of the game. The first play of the game. He has a receiver wide open, like 7 yards downfield, and just misses him. Like throws it behind him, and it was wet. I get that, but still, it was a terrible pass.
I will say, and I am a fan of Josh Allen actually. Since he got drafted, before even Buffalo drafted him, I said he was one of the better quarterbacks in the draft. I personally would have loved to have seen Cleveland draft him, and they drafted Mayfield. I was a fan of Mayfield, so I was like, all right, I'm good with that. That's fine.
Right.
I do love Josh Allen. His thing is inconsistency in passing. He's very inaccurate.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's incredibly inaccurate.
He's one of the better athletes in the entire league.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
But he's very inconsistent with his accuracy.
He is, absolutely.
And yesterday's game proves it. I know it was wet. I know it was raining. But he was very inaccurate to the point where you can't just blame the rain. I was watching some of these passes.
His footwork is terrible.
I'm going, where are you even throwing the ball, bro?
He's a quarterback that looks like he almost has to grow into his size. If that makes sense. He's like the kid who hit his growth spurt too early,
Yeah.
and he just has to figure out how to move in this body now.
To me, it almost seems like he's a guy because of how strong his arm is. It's just when he's throwing it, he's thinking, all right, I got to slow this down a little bit so I
Right.
don't like throw it through my receiver's hands, and that in turn, like
It
just
sails.
Yeah, you end up throwing it like ridiculously inaccurate pass.
Yeah.
That's
I
what it
think
seems like
also
to me.
putting some more offensive weapons around him might help him out a little bit.
Well,
but that's
and
another
being
conversation.
being the athletic, they've tried though. They've
They
got
have
some.
given
They
it a
went out and
shot.
they traded for Stephon Diggs, who has been a big asset to that
Yeah.
offense.
Yeah.
They've drafted running backs in the last 2 or 3 drafts.
Mm-hmm.
They drafted Zach Moss this year. They drafted Singletary 2 years ago.
And they had kept Shady on for a while,
Uh-huh.
trying, to give these running back kids that they were drafting every chance in the world to learn.
And John Brown is not your run of the mill big name wide receiver, but he's a good wideout.
Right.
He's a decent wideout. They've tried to put some weapons around him. It's one of those things where he's very athletic. He relies on his athletic ability, kind of like Patrick Mahomes. The only difference between those two is the fact that Patrick Mahomes is very accurate on the run and on the move, whereas Josh Allen
Is not.
Not. He needs to set. He's one of those athletic quarterbacks. It's really weird. He needs to set his feet to throw the ball accurately, but he's a scrambling quarterback and can run out of the pocket. So it's like in playing with his strength, which is scrambling and running around, he then goes into his weakness, which is throwing the ball on the run,
Yep.
which is so
It is weird.
insane to say. It's so weird. It's strange.
It is strange. Now, speaking of like quarterbacks, and let's go to one that's actually good, and we may have kind of given up on him. Tom Brady in Tampa, like this game. I think he had a big old chip on his shoulder.
He gave Rodgers that nice little. I still got
It's
it.
like yeah.
Look,
I feel like he took the Rodgers fucking humping after the first touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
person-
Oh, yeah.
Person McCringleberry.
Yeah.
Like he took that personally.
I think he did, like the Jordan meme. He's
Yeah,
like,
like-
and I took that personally.
Yeah, he was on the sideline seeing Rodgers dance around. And
It's
he's
like,
like,
okay,
he's like,
all right.
okay, I see you, young
All
buck.
right.
Let me come out there and show you what actually is going to happen.
Yeah.
Young Buck. He's like the
Oh,
third
well,
oldest
I know.
quarterback in the league.
Let me show you what.
yeah,
but-
he's half Tom Brady's age, though.
But for Tom Brady, he's like 10
Right.
years his junior. You know?
It's basically saying, all right, let me show you what got me 6 rings, and
Right.
you only have 1.
Yep. It was very clear.
Yeah.
what happened, and it was one of those things where it was very. That game did not go like anybody thought.
No, because we both picked Green Bay, and
We all did.
yeah, I think we
Yeah,
all picked
that was
Green
a
Bay. Yeah,
sweep.
but yeah,
Wait,
that was,
the nation picked Green Bay.
well, especially when Green Bay went up 10-0, it was like,
Oh, yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay. So we think Tampa Bay is kind of what we talked about last week. They're not very good.
They are who we thought they were.
Exactly.
But apparently they're not.
No,
Now, I will ask you guys.
they pissed off
because
Tom Brady, man.
Don't ever piss off Tom Brady.
Admittedly, so Joe and I talked about this earlier. I basically slept the entire weekend, my off days. I hardly watched any of the sports, so this is going to be more me asking you guys stuff than contributing.
That's fair.
Is Gronk back, though?
No.
Okay.
He's a shell of himself.
No.
Honestly, I was never the biggest Gronk fan to begin with.
Okay.
But watching him play now, it's kind of sad.
Okay.
It's like, dude, you shouldn't come back.
I feel
It's
like
what I expected.
I feel like he needs another year of an off season.
Okay.
I feel like he rushed the comeback
Maybe
because I don't think he put on enough muscle. He lost a lot of weight and a lot of
he
muscle.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
And I don't think he had a good enough off season to put that back on and really get his body strengthened up to play NFL football.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like he used to be a man among boys on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's a boy among men because he lost so much weight and he lost so much muscle and he just wasn't ready for it. I think with another offseason, I think next year we could possibly see a return of actual Gronk if he takes it seriously over the offseason. But right now, no.
No, it was bad.
If Tom hangs him up after this year, does Gronk come back?
No.
Okay.
No.
Nope. But
Gronk will play.
But I see them
if Tom
both.
plays, yeah.
Yeah, I see them both coming back. Actually,
Okay.
I
it
personally
was-
see them both coming back.
It was sad that he was just like lumbering down the field. It was sad. It's like when you see like one of those great players that just
Right.
hung on like a little bit too long.
Yeah.
It was not good.
Well, and he's still athletic enough to be able to get that jump ball in the end zone or to
Yeah.
be able to run that route in the end zone to get the touchdown. You know, he's still athletic enough, but what made Gronk was his strength.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the fact that you had
he was a monster.
defensive end.
Yeah.
Who was
Right.
a tight end.
And his legs, he could run like a gazelle for a guy who was that size, but yet he seems like he's lumbering. He seems like he's a
dropped,
little
I
out
wanna
of
say,
shape.
25 pounds of just straight muscle.
Well, and I think oddly enough, his speed is gone too. Besides all that weight, his speed is just not the same. I don't think he was conditioned well enough. And of course, coming back during a COVID year kind of robbed him of some stuff too. So I think all around, he just is not where he wanted to be.
Okay.
And I think man to a man, I believe he would actually say that personally.
Now, going from one end of the spectrum where Brady had a great game and kind of maybe shut his haters down for, maybe at least a week anyway.
Temporarily.
Let's go to the complete other end of the spectrum, the Dallas Cowboys. God, what an absolute dumpster fire that is, and I could not be happier because, as you boys know, and anybody who listens to us knows, I despise the Dallas Cowboys. I have my entire life. So anytime they get bombed on national television, especially in their house, I love it. It's great.
Well, and I'm not going to lie. I loved it for two reasons. One, I do love seeing Jerry Jones get pissed off because his team is a dumpster fire. But also, Kyler Murray, man. I'm telling you, everyone who listens, again.
Have a homecoming, man.
Everyone who listens knows I'm a big Kyler Murray guy. Huge. When he came out, I'm a huge Kyler Murray guy. Backing this kid all the way.
He's another one, though. Just give me something consistent.
Listen, second year, man. It's one of those things.
Oh, trust me, I'm not writing him off by any means.
I mean, it's some of these guys. Not everybody is a Russ Wilson. Not everybody is a Andrew Luck, where they just come out and they just pick it up and they just it's like they never missed a beat between college and NFL. A lot of these kids, it's a different game in the NFL, and they need to get their feet under them. And a lot of these guys that come out, they're playing on not so great teams that need to build up talent, not just on the offensive side of the ball where they're playing, but on the defensive side of the ball too, to where they're not playing from behind all the time. They're not constantly trying to make up for their team's inadequacy on the other side of the ball, aka Dak Prescott on Dallas. which
that dude is just earning money as he sits there.
Oh my God. As he's hurt right now, rehabbing and going through surgery and all that stuff, he is just banking money right now because it's clear he carried that fucking team while he was on there, before he got hurt.
Well,
he
funny.
carried them.
It's funny, like we talked about before the show, all the stuff that's kind of coming out of Dallas now about players complaining about the coaches, how they don't know what the hell they're doing. The preparedness is absolutely terrible, like
Just
during
non-existent?
practices and games and stuff like that. And I think you saw that last night. Like, I'd say late second quarter into the third, I think that team quit. They just quit. Like, especially after the two Zeke fumbles. And I think that's a part of it, too.
Well,
it's just kind of like, wow.
So that's another thing, too. Zeke, I think he's taking that feed me thing on his stomach way too seriously. Because in all honesty, I'm the last guy to talk about this because I like to eat and I put on some weight. Like, I'm not a skinny dude.
Beefy.
But I'm a little hefty. With that being said, Zeke looks like he put on weight. He's not as fast as he was, and he looks like he's disinterested.
The entire team looks like they're disinterested.
Like, homeboy fumbled twice and was just like,
yeah.
It takes a lot to pick that ball back up.
He's got right? He's got 5 fumbles on the year.
That's bad.
I've done that before with the remote. You look at it on the ground and go,
fuck it.
We'll just watch this for a little bit longer.
This is in Spanish. Fuck it, I'll watch it, even though I don't understand a word of it. It's cool.
We actually
maybe I can learn some Spanish.
There you go.
We actually got a question over here from Steven on our Facebook.
Yeah.
What's the opinion on Lev Bell to the Chiefs?
It's a good move, low risk.
Yeah.
I remember.
I think it was a no-brain move for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Throws you
why not
right
do it?
back into being a title favorite.
Add another weapon? Sure.
Yeah.
So that's a weird one. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire last night.
He had a game.
He had a game. His first game of the year was great.
Yep.
He kind of fell off the map a little bit, but again, KC doesn't run very much. So then they rely on their passing game. I mean, they have guys all over the place.
They ran all night last night
because they knew they could.
Exactly. But that's my point. It's like if they can do it, they'll do that. They'll just
Absolutely.
run all day.
Absolutely. So in that case, they're going to be able to switch guys in and out, like they did last year with LaShawn McCoy, with Darrell Williams, and with oh God, who else was there last year? I'm drawing a blank right now. But
another fast guy that they have.
Yeah. So, but they ran the ball.
I mean, Hunt was there before everything popped off.
It's the other guy who sat out this year, and I completely am blanking on his name.
it
And I
Williams?
apologize. No. I can't even think of it right now.
Okay.
But they will use multiple backs, and Le'Veon Bell there is it's a low risk, high reward signing.
Absolutely.
And he was a great receiving back when he was in Pittsburgh.
So they're gonna rotate these guys in and out. If you're looking for a fantasy football aspect of it, neither one of these guys is going to bring you much now because you're going to be rolling the dice on which one's going to be the hot hand.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at it from fantasy football wise,
The
I would say
situation.
Yeah, I would say don't roll the dice on either one of them because it's going to be one guy one week, one guy another week. But for KC in general, just talking about football aspect, KC's that's a great signing by KC.
Just another weapon,
right?
They
have so many on that team; it's hard to count.
Yeah, it's an embarrassment of riches. It really is.
Tariq Hill last night was non-existent. McCole Hardman non-existent. Basically, was Kelsey and Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
That's all they needed because they ran through that defense like it was Swiss cheese.
But when you look at them last year, I mean, they won a title when Hill was basically only relevant in maybe a handful of games the entire season.
Yeah. That's true.
Hey, thanks for the question. We appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely appreciate it.
More
Steve,
questions? Keep sending them.
Steve, thanks for listening. Appreciate it. And yeah, it was a good question. That's there's two answers to that question. Like I said, there's the fantasy aspect, if that's what you're asking, and then there's the reality aspect. And the reality aspect is Casey's just more dangerous.
Yeah. Again, they just added another weapon.
Because Le'Veon Bell didn't lose that much, other than he went to go play for a team that's coached by Adam Gase,
who still has a job, amazingly.
Who's still, for some reason, is a head coach in the NFL.
And you want to talk about how bad Dallas looked? Whew. They looked 100 times better than the Jets did.
Now that would be a game, the Jets versus the Cowboys.
I would literally rather sit in a pigsty and watch two pigs throw shit at each other than to watch that game.
I'd rather watch a monkey fuck a football.
All right, Herb Brooks. Well said, sir.
But so more quarterback news. We get more quarterback news today.
Tua time.
It's Tua time in Miami.
Okay.
And personally, I think
you were very much against this at
the
beginning.
I was, and I still kind of am.
Okay.
But I think I'm gonna give you the reason why I think this is happening. I think Fitzpatrick has played himself out of a job because Miami doesn't want to win right now. they want more draft picks. So Fitzpatrick was actually winning games.
Yeah.
Not only he's always been a guy that's been able to put up yards, put up numbers, but the team always ends up losing at some point, and he doesn't go on win streaks. I think he's won too many games for them right now, and they're like, you know what?
We got shut this train down.
You know what, Tua, come here. All right, go out there, give us all you got, and you know what? You're our guy. Go on.
And just shave like 12% off.
But right, but they know he's a rookie. They know he's not going to put up the numbers and do what Fitzpatrick was doing.
Do you move Fitzpatrick now, though?
If you can get draft picks for him, hell yeah.
They listen. They could possibly get some draft picks for him, and I would do it if I was them.
And I look at a team like Dallas and go,
dude,
I don't think it matters who the fuck is in Dallas as your quarterback.
But he would
listen. Checked out.
Andy Dalton is not a Fitzpatrick was putting up 300 and 400 yard games on Miami.
Yeah.
What could he do with those three receivers and Ezekiel Elliott? Honestly, they would probably still lose games.
They would, because their defense is that bad.
Their defense is that bad. But Fitzmagic would put up 500 yards a fucking game and 5 touchdowns, and they'd still fucking lose. But still, they were doing that with Dak. Exactly.
Difference does make.
Exactly.
I think that honestly,
at least you're competing though. At that point,
I just think at this point that again, go back to the Cowboys. I think that they've just mentally checked out. In my opinion,
it's entirely possible.
Yeah. Oh, they've quit. They've quit on their coach.
I think they quit, and then Dak got hurt, and then they just said, fuck it.
Well, their defense was just not that good, and then I believe once Dak went out, that was the deflation of the team.
Yeah.
Like it just deflated the entire team.
It's that fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Where they just threw the papers up in the air and said, fuck it. Done with this.
We them boys.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of teams that quit on their coaches, Atlanta, who Detroit will be playing this week. Atlanta got rid of, the owner fired the head coach, fired the GM.
Yeah.
Well, and
wait, they were being proactive? Wait,
yeah.
what?
Well, they were proactive. And guess what happened? They went out and actually played a fucking good game and won.
Actually, yeah, they looked good.
They won.
Yeah.
So guess what that tells me? That tells me they quit on the coach, they quit on the GM, and once the owner fired them and got them out of town, the players went,
okay,
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now let's you know what? That fires me up. Let's go out there and do this. And that's what happened.
Weird.
It's exactly what
Weird
happened.
how that works.
But in the discussion we had pre-show, you stated you might be willing to issue a retraction on a pick from last week.
It's very possible. Now, if you guys listened last week, which I hope you did, I said
If
last.
not, you can go back. We are on all the podcasts.
Yeah, we're on like a
networks.
bunch of podcast apps.
We're on a,
and YouTube.
And YouTube.
I
apparently,
watched
which I didn't
us
know that.
And
on
fa-
my
and-
TV this week.
and Facebook and Twitter.
And Facebook,
you can,
Twitter.
You can go back and
all of them.
Yes.
if you want to watch the show, the video portion of it, you can go back and watch that on those, or you can just go listen to the podcast. But yes, last week during the picks, I made my pick for Detroit this week. After seeing Atlanta, and after seeing Atlanta after Quinn got fired, I might pull back on that once we get to the picks.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but there's a possibility on that.
Just a little tease to keep you guys around for a
Little
little bit longer.
possibility on who I might pick in that game. I'm not really sure. But with that being said, you might want to listen to the picks because, humble brag, 5-1 last week, and I am 61-29 on the year. So
Now that's great. You want to know what else is great?
what else is great?
The time right now to purchase a home or even refinance your existing home. Call my guy Jason Steltner at Flagstar Bank. He'll give you the top-notch service that you're looking for. Flagstar, they're currently offering a 0% down home purchase program. Now, the program won't last long, but the rates are incredibly low. So call my guy Jason Steltner today at 248-675-0675. Trust me, you don't want to miss this great opportunity. The number again is 248-675-0675. Flagstar Bank is an equal housing lender, member FDIC, NMLS number 27546.
Joe just
Nice job. Good segue.
verified his number with
Thank
me,
you.
so I couldn't call him out.
I was just-
exaggerating.
Wait, what?
He is actually 61-29.
I believe it. I don't. Why would he lie about that?
I actually had to look it up because I was trying to remember the number from before.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think it was 61-29. So I that's the number I threw out, and I looked it up. It actually is 61-29. So I was dead on from my memory from earlier.
I
so,
should
yes.
probably add up mine because I say I have no idea what my record is.
Well, and this is going by, we've been picking the game since week one.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
isn't really going off of the show picks. This is going off of a pick 'em that we're in.
Oh, okay,
For
gotcha.
every
Gotcha.
single game every week. And for the year, I'm 61-29. So
Nicely
and
done.
I'll take that.
Good job, buddy. That's why
So,
you're wearing the.
That's
wearing
why
the little-
that's
your
why I'm
little-
wearing the cape and
Yeah.
other
your
other
little,
reasons.
your little robe there.
Other reasons too, yeah.
Yes, other reasons, yes.
So, we'll just throw this one out there. So I dressed up as a prince for Halloween party with my daughter. My daughter's 2.5, and she wanted to be a princess, and wanted daddy to be a prince. So guess what I did? I went out and I bought her a princess outfit, and I bought myself a prince outfit. And I have no problem looking like a jackass for my daughter as long as she's happy, I'm happy. So
And we get laughs out of it because you
yes,
look like, yeah.
and you get laughs out of it because I look like a
Absolutely.
jackass. So I mean, I'm perfectly fine with it. I would get made fun of every day of my life as long as she was happy,
As you
and,
should.
and she is.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna be honest. It's not the weirdest thing I've ever seen you in.
I don't even want to know, man. I don't even want to know.
I don't even know what he's talking about.
I don't even want to know, man. That's between y'all.
This is like a normal day of the week with Joe.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you guys definitely know I have no problem making myself look like an idiot.
Nope.
Dude, it's for the kids.
Exactly.
If you got a problem with a grown man who's completely confident in who they are wearing something like that to make their kid happy, go fuck yourself.
Well, that's the thing. If you got a problem with me, like somebody trying to make their kid happy in general,
Right.
Get fucked. Like honestly,
Like, I don't have kids, Chris. You don't have kids, at least that I'm aware of.
there might be one in Arizona. I'm not sure about that. No, I do not have kids.
Hello, Arizona.
Really?
Long story for another maybe during the summer months when
Gotcha.
we need shit to talk
Yeah,
about.
More
okay.
concerned
Yeah.
about the conversation you might have to have after the show.
Right? Yeah.
But I mean, even for Joe's daughter, I have nieces and nephews. Friends of mine have kids, and I'll dress like a fucking idiot if it makes these kids happy. I could not care less.
Right.
Bro, I would if she asked me to come live on here and wear a tutu and nothing else. Guess what I'd be sitting here in?
No, you would not.
You would be sitting here by yourself.
You would be sitting here.
I'd be sitting here in a tutu and nothing else. I'd be doing a show alone,
You
but,
would be doing the show alone for sure.
but I would do it.
That'll happen the week me and Chris decide to leave the show.
Yeah, yeah. I got some other things I got to do right now. Have at it, buddy.
Literally anything else. I'm going to actually come over and mop Chris's floor. You go ahead and lock yourself in the room and
right.
just wear that tutu, Joe.
Yeah, hey. Listen, if it makes her happy, I do it. But yeah, so anyway, so
If
that's
it
why.
makes her happy, I hope you do it.
Yes, I would.
Exactly.
You know me, I would.
It's actually, I will chime in because I'm not even sure if you're aware of this. In our fantasy league that we were a part of, that's actually part of like the punishment for the draft.
You have to wear a dress?
Is last place is the beer bitch, and they're supposed to wear a pink tutu.
That's a pretty standard.
They get
Would
a
that-
nice little
last place
princess
for-
table.
So why didn't that happen? Oh, I know this year was COVID, so obviously.
So
it didn't
this year
happen,
was
but-
COVID, and the last 2 years, I actually, I jumped on the grenade, I guess, for the betterment of the league. The 2 years ago, I actually didn't lose the league, but the person who lost the league decided he was no longer going to participate. That's how you ended up here.
Yeah.
So rather than going through the full punishment and everything, I said, okay, you know what? Give me the last place trophy. I will go ahead and be the loser for the year. So that way, if we ever have this situation again, whoever won the loser's game, you're still the loser if
Well,
the last place guy bails.
Well, and so the losers trophy. By the way, we won't get too far into this. Losers trophy.
Maybe
is-
I'll bring it in next week.
You know what? Yeah, you should bring it in. Just put it on the table.
I
Because
still have, even
it's-
though I'm no longer the loser, I still have it.
It's a fantastic trophy.
It's like the
and
Sacco?
It kind of is.
Oh,
but
it's something special.
It's a yeah. I can't even describe it, but it somewhere on it does have a ball sack.
Okay,
you go.
you want me to do my best to explain? It's been in my place for 2 years now.
Yeah,
I can.
You've
I
been
can-
staring at it for 2 years. You can explain it.
I've been staring at these balls on his chin for 2 years. So it is a wicker turkey, like the old weaved wicker stick turkeys.
yep.
That has been paper mached
Nice.
by my cousin who runs the league and his daughter.
Okay.
And painted. I don't know if it's supposed to be red or pink, but it's pink.
Yeah, it's definitely pink.
It has the Ohio State O on the side of it
Why?
because it's the loser trophy.
Fair enough.
And it has two bouncy balls that were paper mached where it's gobbler or whatever the thing's called.
Yeah.
So rather than it being a turkey gobbler, it is now a ball sack.
The ball sack. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is absolutely a ball, and it looks just like it is a ball sack.
Yeah.
There's no mistaking it.
Okay then.
Yeah,
And all you have to do, and I have for 2 years now, you have to display it proudly if you are the loser.
Well, yeah.
So it is sat in my family room on a shelf
Oh, Jesus.
overlooking my entire family room
Yep.
for the last 2 years.
Nice.
And upon the request of anybody at any point, if they say, "Where's the trophy?" I'm bound to contract here that I have to provide
Right,
proof that
right.
it is where I say it is.
Nice.
Yep. So, do you guys want to play just a little bit of this game here? We won't take up a lot of time with it, but let's play a little bit of this game here.
Yeah. Right.
You sound so excited, Chris.
Yeah.
A little
I feel
bit.
like at the end of it, we're both going to pick Baker, and then this is just going to go all off the rails.
So I did a number of, so I did 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 quarterbacks
Okay.
over their first 3 years. Now, it's not the same amount of games. It's just the first 3 years of their quarterback existence.
Uh-huh.
And so, for example, with Tom Brady, it was the first 3 years, and first 3 years they mainly played.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? So let's do. I don't feel like a good judge of a quarterback is like yards passed, right? Because
We get like rack
Yeah.
yards and stuff like that.
right. So basically, let's start off with their quarterback rating.
I was going to
Because-
say QBR is a pretty good place.
let's
to
start off with their
with
rating,
quarterbacks.
right? So we have guys like I'll recite them off to you: Baker Mayfield,
Yeah.
Matt Stafford,
Uh-huh.
Troy Aikman, Steve Young,
Who?
Drew Brees,
Never heard of him.
Brett Favre,
Nope.
Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, John Elway, and Jim Kelly.
So like
So
Hall of
all those
Famers,
guys.
basically.
Well, there's some Hall of Famers in there. There's
Majority of that list is Hall
majority
of
of it
Famers.
is,
Other than the fact he's the hometown kid, why the hell would you even include Stafford?
because he's the hometown guy.
Okay.
And we're a hometown show. And this is what it is. So
I was going to say, if there's one name that absolutely doesn't belong on that list, it's Stafford.
yeah.
All right.
So quarterback rating.
Yep.
First 3 years in existence as a quarterback. Name the top 3 out of those. Your guess. You name the top 3.
Top 3 with QBR?
Yes.
I know one of them's not Peyton Manning because
No, he was terrible.
He was terrible. God, I have no idea. That's why I'm not a stat guy. I never have been, but
Well, I'll give you a hint. One of them is Peyton Manning.
really,
Yes.
wow.
Yes.
All right. I didn't think just because that first year was so bad.
I was going to say, you're talking about first years. Baker had a stellar first year.
First three seasons.
Okay.
So basically, it's his for Baker. It's his first 2 seasons plus almost a half a season.
Right.
And then the rest of them, it's the first 3 seasons. But again, not all of them played all the games in their first 3 seasons.
Right.
It's just first 3 seasons combined.
I mean,
total.
shits and giggles, not really knowing anything. I would say probably Favre, Kelly. You said Manning was on the list, so let's go Favre, Manning, and Baker.
Okay.
I'll go Kelly, Favre, and Baker.
Okay. No. It is the 3 leaders. The top 3 is Tom Brady at 85.9.
Okay.
Baker Mayfield at 85.7.
Okay.
And Peyton Manning at 85.4.
Right.
Those are the 3 QBRs first 3 seasons.
Okay.
So again, this is not me saying he's a Hall of Famer. This is me saying that players that have been Hall of Famers and have had really, really, really good careers have started off not so great. They played on not so great teams, and they were able to grow into being who they became. So that's all I'm saying with this. I'm definitely not saying Baker Mayfield's going to be a Hall of Famer. That's not what this exercise is about.
Okay.
All right.
Hold up.
Yes.
We don't exercise on this show.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right.
But I guess this is my question to you about Baker. We talked about this a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Do you think he's hit his ceiling?
No, and for the reasons why I recited earlier, 4 head coaches and 4 offensive coordinators in the first 2.5 years he's been there. That's a lot of turnover as far as leadership goes when you're a young quarterback coming into the NFL. When you already came on to a team that's highly regarded as one of the 3 worst franchises in the NFL. Okay. So they're trying to turn the franchise around. At the same time, you're going to this franchise and you have 4 head coaches and 4 offensive coordinators in the first 2.5 years you're there.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not even like the Lions bad where it's every 3 years you're changing
That's pretty
coaches.
difficult to overcome and have any consistency when you have no consistency in leadership above you. Okay. You know what I mean? That's my thought on that, personally.
That's fair.
Which, I mean, we're here for opinions, right?
Yeah.
That's mine.
Like I said, you know mine, and it's not going to change anytime soon. I respect yours as well, but
yeah. Well, and see, my only thing with this is, and I respect you for this because you come out and say you're going to dog him just because you don't like the guy, and it's not because I can point out to you that out of all these guys I named you, multiple Hall of Famers, in the first 3 years, he has the 3rd best quarterback rating.
Right.
Yet to you, it doesn't matter because you fucking hate the guy.
I don't like.
So,
and I explained why I don't like him.
Right.
But the only thing I like that he has ever done as a football player, he may be a great dude, and like as an actual person, I don't know. But
he runs from the Cubs pretty well.
Yeah, that's true. He does.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He didn't run from there very well at all.
He doesn't take the hit very well. But,
but the one thing I loved that he did was he planted the flag and the O in the shoe. That was awesome.
Yeah,
I thought that was great.
That was badass.
Other than that, whatever. He's there. I see him on my TV all the time in his stupid commercials. It's like, okay.
My complaint with him is nothing more than consistency. But, Joe, one thing you do know about me is the fact I'm very much a numbers guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you start dishing out all this stuff that's going to put him near the top of a list, then this goes from it being my opinion to what the reality of the situation
is.
I
guess my question would be, and I know, Chris, you basically said it does nothing I could say right now is going to change your mind.
Maybe if you, like kind of what Frank just said, maybe consistency might alter it a little bit. Right. I'm never going to be all on board with Baker Mayfield. I'm just not.
Well, and I will say, I personally think this year he's toned down his attitude this year.
That's why I said
for the first 6 games this year.
Right.
He hasn't come out with the arrogance that he had the first 2 years. And I think I think it's Stefanski. I think the coaching staff got in there and said, "Hey, chill that shit out, man."
Yeah, take it down a notch.
Cocky, you haven't done shit.
Right.
So, Frank, my question is that stat that I just read you. He's 3rd in QBR over the first 3 years with all those guys: Stafford, Aikman, Young, Breeze, Favre, Manning, Brady, Roethlisberger, Elway, Kelly.
You're sandwiched between Manning and Brady. If you're a quarterback and you're gonna have company on a stat, that's 2 fucking great people to have as your company.
So does that change your mind even a little bit on the amount of criticism that you're going to get?
He's still inconsistent, and the maturity thing is still a question mark as much as it seems like it's maybe been taken care of.
Right. Well, which this points me to kind of a lot of the greats were inconsistent in their first few years.
Mm-hmm.
Just throwing that out there. That's why I'm throwing this out there.
Who is last on that list?
Last on the list of quarterback rating?
Yeah.
Would be
out of the names that you gave us.
Out of the names I gave you, John Elway.
Wow. Okay.
69.
69. That needs to be a sound bite in the intro now.
I'm cutting that out and I'm putting that in next week. But yeah, the second lowest on that list is Steve Young at 71.7.
Wow.
No, I'm sorry.
Stafford's not even in the bottom 2.
Steve Young is bottom 3. Aikman was bottom 2, 70.5.
Wow. So he's not even bottom 3. Wow, that's not something I expected.
Who's not bottom 3?
Stafford.
No, Stafford is actually pretty high. He's at 84.7. I believe he was 4th on the list.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is about these ratings in their first 3 years. Honestly, I don't think it means anything. I don't.
I'm just saying his stats compare.
Does it? No.
His stats.
All I
compare to
care
some of the
about is
greats.
what you're going to do on Sunday.
Right.
I don't care what you've
and the
done
majority
on Sundays.
and the majority of these guys that we've mentioned in this, like, yeah, they had these whatever the QBR rating was for the first 3 years, but they all got better. The majority of them got better
after their first 3 years.
Right.
They got better.
I'm just I want to see if Baker can do that, and in my opinion, I don't see him going much higher than he is now. I don't see it.
Right. Well, I mean that's fair.
And if he does, great. I'll be wrong. That's fine. But I don't see it.
But at the same time, like, to almost support what you're saying, we saw guys like Kirk Cousins put up numbers not quite that good.
I
but
love seeing him throw 3 interceptions against Atlanta.
But he put up some decent numbers his first year or two playing. He did okay, and then has just tapered off. So where all those names, everybody's taken off to go up.
Talk about a dude that's stealing money. Good Lord.
Oh God, he might as well be wearing a ski mask every time he plays football.
But you're married to him right now.
I know.
Like, if you're Minnesota, you are stuck.
If you're that GM, you should be fired. I'm sorry. Like, to sign him to that contract.
If you're the GM of that team, you better figure out how to go play quarterback because you've got to do something now about.
Yeah, that's that dude. Like, and you guys know how much I despise Kirk
And then
Cousins.
you trade away Diggs, like you
right,
like he was the problem there.
Yeah, right. No, it's the dude that's throwing him the ball is the problem. Is
Well,
one of the biggest problems.
And that was Diggs' problem. Was the guy throwing him the fucking football?
Right. And Thielen's got it. All his receivers seem to have issues with this dude.
Other than the new rookie,
right.
Justin Jefferson, who just went off for like 169 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Oh,
it's like, you guys keep ripping this guy. I'll just keep catching the ball.
Yeah. So anyway, that my exercise there was just I believe he takes some criticism unwarranted, and it's because of his attitude and because of the team he plays for. I'm just saying it's a little unwarranted by his stats. He gets bashed for being a bad player when in reality his stats show he hasn't been that bad of a player. That's my only point in all of that.
I only bash him for being a bad player the week after we have to hear about how great he is. And that's more of a exposing the inconsistency of him. So you say last week, and specifically...
Well, listen, I've never come out and said he was that great. I've never said he played great.
But the that's my quarterback comment itself.
That's my quarterback.
Like you were saying, like, that's my quarterback. Yeah. That's my quarterback. I'm happy with this quarterback.
Yeah, that's my quarterback.
You were Terrell Owens with Tony Romo.
That's my quarterback.
Right.
Well, and that's really why I said it, too, because it's just funny to say that.
And it was me coming back at you and saying, that's your quarterback. Like, if that's your quarterback, you got to live and die with him then.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
The weeks that he does go off and he has a great week, you also have to own him when, he's got 3 broken ribs or whatever's going on with him and he has no business playing and still tries to go out there and do it.
That's my other problem is I had such hope in that coaching staff, and my question now to that coaching staff is why did you even put him on the field, bro? The entire game.
To get killed?
Right, well, the entire game, every time he took a hit, he was wincing. I mean, every single hit he took, even if it was a brushing hit, he got up wincing. Man, why is he even in the game? Lose the game? It was Pittsburgh. Like you're not.
We did see how good Pittsburgh's defense is.
Well, and not to mention we picked Pittsburgh.
Dude, we did. Yes,
I said they were going to get killed. Cleveland's 4 of Cleveland's best defensive backs were not in the game.
Right.
Weren't playing. They're missing a linebacker. They're missing they were missing their best offensive lineman this year. why is Baker even in the fucking game, man? Play Case Keenum, let his ribs heal up until next week. That was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. I don't understand why you would do that.
I'm really thinking, too, we were talking jerseys earlier. I think a TJ jersey is going to be the next one I get.
TJ
Watt.
That'd be, yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. His brother's a great player. His brother's talented as all hell. But, dude, TJ is...
That's solid.
He's a different type of player. And he is just... If you're building a defense, that's the guy you want to build it around.
Yeah.
I can't argue with that.
So, are you guys looking? Are you guys tired of going from dealership to dealership looking for an automobile or a boat? Get in touch with Land and Sea Motorsports. They specialize in finding you the car, truck, or boat that you're in the market for. At Land and Sea Motorsports, tell them the type of vehicle and the features you want that will fit your budget. They will offer shrink wrapping and winterization for all boats and jet skis. If your boat or vehicle need any repairs or cleaning, they offer a full detail division as well. So give them a call at 586-484-9798 or visit landandseamotorsports.com. That is landandseamotorsports.com.
I don't know what happened there.
I'm sitting here reading and all of a sudden I hear, playoffs?
I don't know. I got nothing on that one.
Like, do you guys do this just to fuck with me? You know that I'm terrified to read in front of people. And then every week it's just like, let's see if we can crack Frank.
Listen, and I held in my laughter until you were done at least because I was ready to die.
Last week I'm paranoid. I'm yelling into the microphone. And this week I'm just like, no, playoffs.
I think I pulled a muscle holding in that laugh.
Like, all right.
I looked over at him. He's like,
God. What happened? Was that you, dude?
Yeah, I don't. Got away from me there. I don't know what happened. That's crazy.
Playoffs.
Just out of nowhere.
Oh God!
This is why you do the producing,
right? You did damn well staying with that.
You did. I thought you were totally gonna break after that.
I had to turn away from you. I had to turn away from you and pull a muscle trying to hold in that laugh. Oh boy!
Oh, that was too
so
funny.
I think the last thing I'd like to get into, if you guys are cool with it, before we get into the picks, is a little bit of what we saw going into the World Series.
Yeah.
And a little bit of what transpired.
Wait, another Atlanta team choked away a fucking lead? That never happens. Ever.
And what is happening right now? Tampa Bay is now title down.
I guess.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, and did you see that? Did you see the payroll differences?
Oh, yeah.
So
Kershaw and Mookie make as much as the entire fucking Tampa Bay team.
The entire team.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I think they actually clear them by $2 million.
Yeah. I think they're more than them by like $2 million. So the entire Tampa Bay Rays team can be paid for with Kershaw and Betts pay.
Yeah.
I'll put it, if the Dodgers don't win this one, they're never going to win.
I agree with you.
This is the end of your window, though.
You gotta. No, it's not, because they got Mookie. They'll be fine. They can go outside free agents.
I want to see what happens when this CBA comes up, though.
Oh, that's gonna be a war.
Because when this CBA is done, that Mookie contract is not going to be what it is.
There's gonna be another strike. There's gonna be another.
I think
no doubt
there
about
absolutely
it.
There's gonna be a lockout.
Yep, 100%. Agree with that.
It's not gonna be pretty.
No.
It's gonna be really, really ugly.
If you're the Dodgers, you don't win this one. You're not going to win any of them.
Listen, this is their best chance.
Yep.
I mean, let's face it, they're playing a Rays team that got hot, but if you look at it, they outmatched them.
They've been one of the best teams all year. They finished #1 seed in the American League.
I know that, but when it comes down to the actual, like, you look at it overall, they're outmatched by the Dodgers.
How are they outmatched?
By the players themselves.
Because their salaries are bigger?
No,
I mean,
talent-wise, I think Tampa has outplayed their actual talent. I think they've outplayed themselves. It was a 60-game season, so it's not like they played a full 100.
Again, you know my thoughts on this.
Yeah,
about the MLB season.
Yeah,
it's a sham
when we talk about the baseball season, we got to take it for what it is.
Right.
I was gonna say I have to stress that because we knew there was teams that were gonna get hot and be hot that would not have done that for an entire season, and to me, Tampa Bay is the biggest example of that. We're getting the biggest example of it, is that team was really hot. I don't think they could have sustained it through an entire regular season if it was an entire regular season. I just don't. And that's my opinion.
I'm interested to see what happens. I think the Dodgers got this sealed up. I think the Braves were the best team in the playoffs, and
I agree with
Dodgers picked it up and were able to to figure out how to beat them. I think
it
took hell to beat them, but
I didn't realize how good Atlanta was. You took them.
I did.
You took them as your pick. I didn't realize how good they were.
But they're Atlanta, so they blow fucking leads.
I didn't watch a lot of baseball this year. Admittedly, I hate to admit it. We're a sports show, but I didn't watch much baseball this year.
It's been hard to get into, though.
Well, and as we talked about it, I think our audience can relate to this too. If you're listening, you love sports, obviously, but times have kind of changed.
Yeah.
Whereas other priorities are taking place in front of sports now, and you have to prioritize what sports you enjoy more. And you're not watching everything all the time anymore like you used to, because there's just a lot of other things going on in our lives. And with, we have the election coming up, people are watching more of that stuff. God help you. We have the pandemic. People are watching news all the time because they want to hear the latest numbers and the latest.
Dude, I don't even want to turn my TV on half the time anymore.
A lot of this stuff I don't want to watch, and I don't. But I mean, everybody kind of has better priorities than watching every single sports.
Binge watching shows and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I mean, like, there's things that during Corona where it was lockdown and all that stuff, and the sports weren't taking place, people got into other things.
Yep.
And I think some things in people's lives have taken a back seat. Some sports have taken a back seat, and in mine, baseball was one of them. I didn't watch much this year, and you know me. I like to watch baseball every year. I enjoy it. I enjoy going to games. I didn't watch much, so Atlanta caught me off guard.
Like the one thing I will throw out, and I kind of mentioned this to you guys before the show, and throw out for everybody who's listening: Saturday, Gaethje versus Khabib.
Yeah,
dude, if you've got the opportunity to watch that's going to be a must-see fight. I really, really have high hopes for that fight. So now that sports is kind of cooled back off, if you're looking for something to watch.
What is it on?
ESPN Plus.
It's going to be on ESPN Plus,
pay-per-view,
whatever.
I will be watching college football. So
yeah, and that's going to be the thing, is it's going to compete against college football, because you said it was, 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yeah,
fight,
which is fucking weird. Like, I know it's on Fight Island or whatever.
Yeah, which isn't even really an island, but that's a whole discussion for another time.
You guys both know I'm not huge into UFC.
Right. But what I was just saying basically is that if you're looking for something to watch and you don't feel like watching the college games, it's going to be a hell of a fight.
See, I'm kind of one of those people. I'm in the middle. Like I know you're really into UFC. Mm-hmm. I'm into it, just not as much as you are, and I know you're not really into it at all. So I'm kind of that guy in the middle. This would be one of those fights I would tune in for.
Yeah.
Because it is one of those fights that's going to be pretty entertaining.
Gaethje
as far as
is probably one of the most underappreciated fighters that UFC has.
I think
definitely not underrated, because the guys who actually pay attention to him understand that he is an incredible fighter.
Right.
But he doesn't get the notoriety that your Connors, that your Khabibs, that your John Joneses, that those guys all get.
I think what I might do, being as I do have ESPN Plus, is between like the Michigan game and the Miami game, because Miami plays at noon, I believe.
Okay.
I'd maybe check it out then. Maybe I don't replay or
Well, you've got multiple TVs. You can put it on one and watch the game on the other.
Yeah, that's a good point. I could probably do that too. Yeah. We'll see.
But that fight,
I'm not going to make it like a huge priority to watch it.
Right.
But if I remember it's on, I might turn it on for a little bit.
I just think it'd be worth watching.
So,
but yeah, if you're excited for college football, then watch college football.
So let's get let's
Big
get
Ten's coming on.
Yeah, let's get a pre-pick in before we go to our picks. Yeah, there's a push for our picks too, by the way. We're going to be picking a couple of college Big Ten games in the picks.
We got the Big Ten coming back finally.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So with that being said, I want to make a pick before we get into the picks.
Yeah.
And that is, now that the World Series is Tampa, Dodgers, who do you have?
Rays.
Gotcha.
He's picking the Dodgers. Of course he's picking the Dodgers.
I already know who you're picking. I took the Dodgers at the beginning of the pick, so I'm sticking with them. I think
there's nothing that I saw from Tampa. I mean, I didn't jump too much in on the conversation you guys were having about Tampa. There's just not too much I saw out of them that I went, that's a team that can handle the Dodgers. Like, you almost blew it against the Astros.
The Astros are good, man. The Astros can beat the Dodgers.
But you almost just blew it.
I mean, with cheating or without?
I think as this year has proven, you can do it without. They could do it without.
But is it proven they're not cheating again?
Yeah.
Actually, an interesting thing. I heard Cora's name tied to the Tigers job.
Yeah,
I would take him.
I would take
him or AJ Hinch. I'd take both. Either one of them.
I really would too. I don't care if he cheats or not. Fucking cheat, bro. I want to see this. I want to see the Tigers win.
Right?
But
Good days.
Yeah.
Good days.
Yeah.
no,
So-
just watching them struggle to close that series off. I look at it. I go, they're a young team. Young teams don't really know how to finish good teams off, and that was the problem they had the last series.
Yeah.
I see it happening again.
Okay.
Yep. All right. With that, we're going to get into the picks, and it's brought to you by Go-To Pro Plumbing.
If you've had plumbing problems, you're definitely not alone. The next time you have an issue, there's only one place to call. Go-To Pro Plumbing. They're a local family-owned company with 15 years of experience. Based in Centerline, they serve the Metro Detroit areas, keeping your pipes clean and flowing with fair prices and happy customers. Sick of having to take a day off work waiting for a plumber? Then call Go-To Pro Plumbing. They're open 7 days a week for all your plumbing needs. The knowledgeable and experienced staff will keep you informed of their progress every step of the way to make your experience as smooth as possible. Call Go-To Pro Plumbing today at 586-250-2881. That's 586-250-2881. Go-To Pro Plumbing. When your pipes won't flow, call the pro.
It's time!
Yes. The picks.
It is time.
It is time for the picks.
Can we get our credit for holding it together that time?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you guys did hold it together.
We did.
But it was because I wasn't doing the live read, which is one of the reasons why I made sure I made it into a recorded commercial. Because every time I did that read, you guys would start laughing.
I also took my headphones off because I was like, okay, I'm taking the headphones off for right now just to make it through this.
You thought you still might laugh.
Yep.
It's a quick review of last week's picks. Joe, congratulations. You went 5-1 or 5-1. Good job.
Thank you.
I went 3-3. Frank, you did not even hit 500. 2-4. That's not going to help your win percentage any.
Listen, man. There's a reason I didn't tell you what my score was in that league that Joe mentioned earlier.
That's fair.
Yeah. I'm not going to say that I pick with anything more than what I hope happens for the most part.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to throw it out there. You just got to,
Dude, there's sometimes I pick something that's like, this is what I thought was going to happen.
Right.
I don't know why I did, but I did.
Now we're into week 7. Week 7, right? With all these games getting rescheduled, it's kind of hard to keep up with what week is fucking what.
Yeah.
2 Monday night games. There's Tuesday
Crazy.
games.
Real
Crazy.
quick, though, before you get into that,
Yeah.
I'd just like to announce him took last week's game, the final game that was not mentioned on the show, when Joe said, we were going to get.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the game we were watching last
took
week.
one team, and he took another team.
Yeah, the Buffalo game.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
he
Yes.
did take that victory.
He did
You
take
did.
that
Yes,
victory.
you did.
I just want to put that on the
Yes.
record real quick.
Nicely done, sir. Now, this is a game we have to pick because
I just want my credit. Nobody ever gives me the credit I deserve.
If you notice, every week we do the Thursday night game, we do the Sunday night game,
Thank
and
you.
we do the Monday night games. Now, this one I didn't want to pick because anything involving the NFC East I don't think should be picked at all. However, since it's a Thursday night game and people are going to watch, we're gonna pick it.
We do all the primetime games.
We do.
It is what it is.
This game
You
should
sound
not
like
be
an angry New Yorker right
This
now.
game should not be. Honestly, this game shouldn't even be played. I don't care what day of the week it is. It shouldn't be played. Anywho, Giants Eagles, go.
Giants Eagles. Oof.
Giants.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Oddly enough,
The only thing the Eagles have is Sanders, and Sanders ain't playing.
Sanders isn't playing. Ertz is out, but Ertz hasn't done much this year. The Eagles have so many injuries, and looking at this line, I'm surprised. The Eagles are still favored by 4. Now, it is in Philadelphia. I don't know if Philadelphia has fans. I believe they might have some in the stands. But
They did. They had like a brawl breakout.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. I did see that. Yeah,
One of
you're
the few
right.
highlights I caught.
Big surprise. A brawl breaks out in Philly.
In Philly, yeah.
Crazy.
So
Next, you're going to tell me they were probably drunk.
Right.
what?
Say what?
So with that being said, Philadelphia has so many injuries. And it's not like New York is good, but Philadelphia has so many injuries. I just don't see how they're going to stay competing in this game. I mean, the offensive line for Philadelphia hasn't been able to block for Carson Wentz to save his life, literally to save his life, because he looks like he's dying every game back there. I'm going to take the Giants.
I think it's a solid pick. I'm going to make it 3 for 3. I'm taking the Giants as well. The Eagles. Carson Wentz is that dude sucks. I'm sorry, he sucks.
He's hot garbage.
That team was so good that Nick Foles succeeded.
Right, and I've been saying this for a few weeks now. I think this team has quit on Carson Wentz. I don't think they want him as their starting quarterback.
It's hard to disagree with you on that.
It is. I have no argument against that.
There's another candidate potentially going to Dallas.
Carson Wentz?
That'd be an interesting one.
That would be something else. Absolutely. Let's see here. What do we got? We'll go to some of the Sunday games. Let's go Niners, Patriots.
Niners, Patriots. All right. You want me to start this one off?
Yeah, because I can't decide if I want to take Jimmy G's bum ass or COVID Cam.
He looked all right.
I was going to say, listen, guys, not another humble brag on my part, but I tried to tell you guys that San Francisco was going to rebound, and
you did.
And
you did,
Garoppolo was going to come out and look a lot better than he did. He looked like he was another week healed from that injury, and that's kind of what happened, and that's the way that game played out. With that being said, New England's at home in this game. They're giving up 2.5, which is not a lot to give up at home, so it's basically a pick'em game right now. I'm going to lean towards New England having a bounce-back game. I think Cam Newton looked really bad this last week. He looked like having those weeks off with COVID kind of took its toll on him. I think another week in, he's going to look a little better. That New England Patriots team is going to come out and play better at Foxborough. I'm taking New England.
I am also going to take New England. I kind of for the same reasons that you just laid out, Joe. I do think they had somewhat of a setback. And Cam this past week, and Cam looked awful.
Oh yeah,
he looked like he looked like
Cam.
Exactly. He looked exactly that. However, I do think he will have a bounce back game. And again, we have to say this. The Niners are traveling across the country.
Yes,
that's always tough. Again, fans or no fans, it's tough to do that. So, for those reasons, I am going to go with the Patriots.
I am going to pick opposite just for the hell of it, and more or less for the fact that you guys seem awfully sure about Cam bouncing back, and we haven't really seen a lot of these athletes in what they've had to go through after getting diagnosed.
With COVID, yeah.
So I guess more for storyline's sake than anything, I'm going to take San Fran.
And honestly, I can't even tell you I'd be surprised if San Fran won that game. I'm going off a gut right now. And I think, Chris, you're probably doing the same thing.
Especially you said it's basically a pick'em.
Yeah. It really is basically a pick'em game. I mean, it's
if there's nothing else, the travel thing. Yeah, it's kind of like my deciding factor.
I'm interested to see what happens with Cam really for the rest of the season.
Right,
and I
Is he
think this
able to come back.
Yeah, and like you said, what's the long-term effects of these players getting COVID? And
do you have the breathing issues? Is all that shit going to still be a problem?
And we don't know that.
Right. We haven't seen a lot of athletes having to come back from it.
So, and I think this next game you have coming up is also pretty close to a pick'em game. It's going to be a tough one to pick.
Do you even know which game I have coming up?
I think I do.
The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Tennessee Titans. All right, I'll start this one off. I am going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers. What they showed, especially this past weekend against your Browns, that defense, I'm going to say they are the best defense in the NFL. I think they're better than the Ravens defense. I absolutely believe that. Derrick Henry, I think, he's still going to have a decent – I don't think he's going to do what he's done the past few weeks. But I think Pittsburgh's defense is good enough to at least contain him. And I think they're going to get after Ryan Tannehill. And then they're going to actually – and Ryan Tannehill –
Make Ryan Tannehill look like Ryan Tannehill again?
Yeah, but the thing is, Ryan Tannehill, he has not been that bad.
Did you see that trick play, too?
Listen,
that was fucking
not
beautiful.
even that bad. Ryan Tannehill has been good.
Fair enough.
Since he went to
you put
Tennessee.
him in the right system. It's amazing what happens when you get.
It's amazing what happens when you have the right head coach and the right system and the right people behind you.
He has talent. It was never a talent issue.
You and I both were Ryan Tannehill guys in Miami.
I get made fun of because I draft him as my backup quarterback in fantasy every single year because this is the quarterback that I saw.
Listen, he just
didn't play that way.
Right. I was a huge Tannehill guy. I know you were. Yeah. We both talked about it several times. He had that talent. He just was in the wrong situation on the wrong team with the wrong guys behind him and the wrong coaches. And he's showing what he can do on Tennessee right now with the guy that the Lions should have picked over Fatty Matty. Well, again, humble brag, said that before as soon as they hired his fucking bum ass. I said that shit.
You also have the man-child in the backfield, though.
Yes.
And
that run he had, holy shit, man.
Derrick Henry really helps out.
Like somebody that big should not be allowed to run that fucking
For
fast.
real.
Good Lord.
Explain to me why an offensive lineman's able to do that.
What?
It's amazing.
Watching him play and watching how big he is and how he literally throws guys off of him.
Yeah.
And then seeing him run away from defensive backs.
Like you just saw the acceleration.
Yeah.
It was like,
I'm watching
oh,
it. I didn't even
shit.
realize. Like as I'm watching it, I'm going, this can't be real.
Right.
The guy is so big and so strong, but he's outrunning DBs.
Yep.
And
It's insane.
granted, we were on when the game was going on last week, but
Yeah.
I'm sure you caught the replay of the stiff arm.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, and you posted a
I
picture
posted
of it.
memes of
Yeah.
it. Absolutely. Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Yeah,
Like
it was
that-
great. I saw one of him doing like an RKO. It was fantastic.
Grown men can't do that to grown men.
Right.
That's
So if you're doing that to grown men, you are something far beyond anything
Yes.
we've ever seen.
However, who are you picking?
Your pick.
Tennessee.
Yeah. So with my pick, I'm looking at this game two different directions. Pittsburgh is the away team. Tennessee's at home. Not like that makes a huge difference this year, but I still take that into account. Pittsburgh has. I agree with you, Chris. I think Pittsburgh has one of the best defenses I've seen this
The whole time
year.
you were saying it, I was over here shaking
Yeah,
my head.
I
I do agree with that.
I think they are the best defense this year, and it kills me how they draft players every year that just fit into their defensive system.
Weird how that
And
works.
They do. They just pick guys. And during the drafts every year, do I not text you and go, Pittsburgh's going to take this guy?
Yeah.
Because he fits their system. And every year they take the guy and he fits their system and he becomes a stud. It's
Right.
it's what they do. It's what Baltimore does. Same with them. They draft guys that fit. They don't draft the guys that everybody tells them they should draft. And
Yeah.
who
Let's
are
say
higher-
you know who doesn't do that?
I know who doesn't do that. I know exactly who doesn't do
The
that.
team in Honolulu Blue and Silver.
Teams who consistently pick in the top 10
Yes.
don't tend to do that.
So with that being said, I do love their defense. I think they're playing out of their minds. But I just can't pick against Tennessee right now. And I love that team. I love that offense. Ryan Tannehill is the Ryan Tannehill I saw when he first came out of college. Derrick Henry is a man-child and is just literally throwing people off of him. And I think Tennessee wins this game.
Fair enough.
Like, Derrick Henry
But that Taylor,
needs to be in the recreation of the "Oh my dick" video.
Taylor Lewan being out in this game and being out for the rest of the season
Yeah, that
does hurt, and it makes me a little hesitant to make this pick. But I'm not going to let one player being out sway me from making this pick. That's who I would have picked originally. I'm going to try. I'm going to hope that Taylor Lewan's backup is not as bad as he looked this last week.
And that's one of those games that, dude, if I'm wrong, then so be it.
Yeah,
Like, that's a hell of a matchup. Everybody who watches that game ends up winning in the end.
it's going to be a good game.
We're gonna go to a NFC West matchup: the Sea Chickens and the Cardinals.
The Sea Chickens.
Okay.
Oh, that was short and sweet. Short and sweet.
I'm basically picking them from here on out. I don't care who they're playing.
Hey, listen, that's hard to argue against. It's hard to argue. Chris, you want to take the second one on this one?
I'm going to take the Sea Chickens as well. Again, just kind of for what Frank just said. I mean, Russell Wilson, he's playing out of his mind.
And you have Lockett.
And you have Tyler
who's
Lockett.
a hell of a number one. And then
And-
you have, DK Metcalf, who's their real number one.
That dude's
Right.
talk about another tank. Jesus Christ.
If I liked Seattle in the slightest, that would be a jersey I'd have on right now.
The
jersey-
highlighter green.
Their
No,
jerseys
I
are just so ugly,
Oh, they're
though.
awful.
Yeah, they're so bad.
Like, listen,
Not wear them.
I'm a huge DK Metcalf fan at this point, but I just would never get that jersey. I'm not a big jersey buyer anyway, but I would never get that jersey.
Neither am I.
They're just so ugly. bro.
Chris,
You
you
have,
need to go to rehab for
Yeah.
jerseys.
you have a problem. You have a problem with buying jerseys.
I feel like we need to display one randomly every week. Like just find somewhere in here to hang a random jersey.
We could do a full.
No, I plan on wearing him.
We could do
once
a
it gets cold. Once it gets
fucking wear
colder.
'em.
yeah. We could do a full year of shows, and you would never wear the same jersey twice.
You're right. We could because I have at
Yeah.
least 60, 65. Yeah.
Yeah.
We could do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
with-
got a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, if I
mean,
wore
it could be worse.
jerseys,
It could be worse. You could have a worse problem.
I have. To
I mean,
get
it could
the,
be the
the
doing
more
drugs and
fabric
shit.
ones, so they cost me more
yeah.
money.
Yeah. And I'm
if
just
I could wear his, I might actually have the same problem.
I've just never been a jersey buyer and a jersey wearer. I have a Tom Brady, I have
Yeah.
a Michigan football, I have my Baker Mayfield, but I don't buy too many jerseys. It's not my thing. But with that being said, I would buy a DK Metcalf jersey because the guy's a stud, and I just don't like their jerseys, though. They're fucking ugly.
Every time I buy a jersey, the guy gets traded.
That's true.
That is so true.
That is accurate.
If you want to know who's going to get traded,
Jalen, Gronk.
if you want to know who's going to be off of a team pretty
AB.
soon, just go by what jersey Frank buys, and that player will not be on that team next year.
Jonathan Abram.
Yeah, that's true.
He will not be on the Las Vegas, Oakland, Los Angeles Raiders next year.
Probably, yeah.
I hope that's wrong.
So do I.
With that being said, in my pick in this game, this one was a toss-up for me. I'm not really sure. I don't know whether to buy into Arizona's defense playing as good as they played this last week, or it was just Dallas's offense was that bad. And I know Arizona's defense was supposed to be better going into the season, so I'm trying to think that maybe they're coming around a little bit. And Seattle's been playing out of their mind. Russell Wilson's playing out of his mind. It's a pick'em game for me. Since you guys took Seattle, I'm actually going to lean and take Arizona just for the fun sake of it.
It's
but
not
I
fun
did,
when we all agree.
You're right. It's not, and I think I probably would take Arizona anyway. So that's not a cop out for me. I'm not going to say, oh, I wanted to take Seattle. I just took Arizona just for the fun of it, just to be that way. I'm going to take Arizona. I like the way they played. I think they might be turning a corner here a little bit.
All right. Let's go to the Sunday nighter. The Tampa Bay Bucks and your Las Vegas Raiders, Frank.
This disappoints me because I'm going to be working for this game. But
Oh, that's rough.
yeah,
That's rough.
like, Vegas is my team.
Yeah, and they're playing.
Tom
against,
Brady is my boy.
They're playing against Tom and your boy Gronk.
Gronk is my everything. No homo.
That's,
But Vegas was just, I don't know. I saw something in Vegas that I haven't seen in a while in that team. And I'm not going to say that they're going to walk through the rest of the season like I think that Seattle's going to do. But I think you're going to see a different team in Vegas the rest of the season after that Chiefs win. So
Taking the Raiders?
we're going to go with the Raiders.
the Raiders.
I am also going to take the Raiders. I still don't. I'm still not buying into Tampa Bay. I think this was a one-off against Green Bay. I think, especially Rodgers doing that little dance or thing he did in the end zone.
We're all well aware that angry Tom Brady is not somebody anyone wants to play.
Right. That, and then whomever, like during the week, whomever said at least my quarterback can count to 4 or whatever the fuck he said. I do. I think this was. I think it was a one-off. I'm not sold on the Buccaneers.
That's fair.
And I agree with you, especially what the Raiders did against the Chiefs. I think that's given them a huge lift. I'm still not a believer in Derek Carr. However, I think overall that team is solid, and they're going to go in with confidence. Give me the Raiders.
And I was sitting out in the car before the show, reading up on some things that went on. The Raiders actually signed Irving as well.
Nice.
From the Cowboys, the one
Cool.
who's been gone for the last couple of years.
Dig it.
So that's just going to help on that defense.
And they need help on the defense. That's the thing that I'm looking at right now. And in all honesty, I think this game will come down to defense. I think both offenses have firepower. Ronald Jones has come around and looks really good.
Very much so.
And Josh Jacobs, you know what I think of Josh Jacobs. He's one of my favorite players in the NFL right now. So offense wise, I think these two teams compare. I think defensively, it stands out in Tampa Bay's favor. Tampa Bay is ranked 2nd, 6th, 1st, 8th. I mean, they're ranked high in everything on the defensive category, whereas Las Vegas is 24th, 25th, 22nd, 27th, 25th in respective categories. I'm going to lean towards Tampa Bay in this game based on just defense, honestly.
It's fair.
Fair enough.
I think John Gruden owes the Raiders fan base a victory against Tampa, so
Yeah.
you better win.
On to the
Make up for 0-2.
On to the Monday nighter, the LA Rams, and I cannot believe they're fucking 5-1 Chicago Bears. All right, first I was has there ever been a worse 5-1 team than the Chicago Bears?
No.
This year?
No.
I mean,
No. And we talked
don't
about
get
this.
it.
We talked about this a little bit before the show, and it doesn't do us any good to talk about it before the show if we don't talk about it on
right.
it. And it's one of those things where if you look at who makes the playoffs right now, if the playoffs started today,
The Dallas Cowboys would be in the playoffs at 2-4.
that's sad, first of all. But
It
I think
is
even the
really
Dallas
sad.
Cowboys, could beat this Bears team. I don't see Chicago being able to beat any actual playoff team. And that's how I look at it, is that they've 2 of their wins are frauds, and they're a 5-1 team that is the biggest
3 of their
fraud.
wins are luck.
I mean, it's insane to me that this team is 5-1 right now, and they're definitely not.
They're
not a team that's going to beat anybody. In the
right.
playoffs.
Like I know you are what your record says you are,
which is
true.
We say that all the time, and it is true.
But you look at the eye test, you're just like, okay, is this really a 5-1 football team?
Listen. You are what your record says you are, and we say that all the time. With that being said, they're the ugliest 5-1 team I've ever seen in my life.
It's definitely like the worst 5-1 team.
It's impossible to argue that.
So I'm going to take the Rams.
Rams.
Yeah, Rams.
Let's sweep it.
If the Chicago somehow magically continues this, then I think you have to start buying in.
Listen,
I think you have to.
I think we need to turn this into a thing every week. Every week we pick the Chicago game. We pick whoever's playing against Chicago, and if they keep winning, then fuck us, I guess.
Listen, I tell you what. Next week, if the Bears win this game, I will find something Bears to wear on a show next week.
Can we cut out the Bears logo and put it on the back of your cake?
Absolutely.
Bears.
The Bears.
Bears. And now for the
King of the Bears.
For the biggest game of the week on Sundays. Frank's Detroit Lions.
My Detroit Lions.
And Joe's apparently Atlanta Falcons.
All right. Yeah.
Joe has a Falcons team now?
He was talking mighty highly of them before the show and during the show, and
all right,
kind of teasing stuff.
We'll go ahead and save the tease for the end. I'll go ahead and jump in.
Yes,
I actually do agree with what Joe said last week. I do think it'll be the Lions. They give me one win, and
you're back in.
Give me the Kool-Aid.
All right.
What about you, Chris?
I'm gonna take the Atlanta Falcons. Like we talked before the show, and you change the coach, you change the energy, and
that's exactly what seemingly happened.
Yeah, they played with a completely different mindset against Minnesota this past week, and I think that's going to continue. I'm clearly not even remotely even sold on the Detroit Lions because, again, you played a team that's worse than you.
Mm-hmm.
You should beat them.
You beat a team you're supposed to beat.
Yeah, exactly. So again, I'm not going to try to celebrate that because it's not something you should celebrate. So give me the Falcons.
Now, Joe, to do something that I don't often hear you do.
What's that? Backtrack on something I said?
No, I don't want to say you're backtracking. But you had an opinion that you really believed.
Yeah, wholeheartedly.
And
wholeheartedly
genuinely just changed your opinion on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's not too often, especially with football specifically. I don't hear you change your mind too often.
But with football, that's one thing I know you can say about me, and Chris, same thing, is I look at it very thoroughly.
Mm-hmm.
And I analyze the game. Football is my favorite sport.
Yep.
And in looking at this, Chris, we talked about it. You just talked about it. A change at change at coach can turn a team around, can make them play harder, can make them play better. It's addition by subtraction. And from what I saw from Atlanta last week, I am absolutely backtracking on my pick last week for Detroit to beat Atlanta. And I'm going to take Atlanta because they just seem like a totally different team right now. That defense was swarming the football, which in the first 5 weeks, they looked like total complete garbage, and they were never around the football. Teams were getting chunks of yards against them. This last week, they were picking off passes. They were swarming the football, and again, that offense has always been potent. But they weren't being coached right, and it just didn't look right. And both these teams defensively have been in the bottom third of the league this year. With that being said, Atlanta is playing better. I think they end up taking this game at home.
Falcons. All right. Okay. Now we got 2 bonus picks since the Big Ten is back. So, being as we're obviously in the state of Michigan, we got to do the 2 in-state schools that actually matter. I'm sorry, Central, Western, all the MAC schools, whatever.
Are they even playing?
They're not even playing it, so it doesn't matter anyway. Anyways, we'll go. We'll start off with the afternoon game. The Michigan State Spartans at the Butgers Scarlet Knights. I think that's what they are.
I believe so.
Butgers.
Yeah.
Give me Sparty.
Yeah, whatever. Michigan State.
Make it a sweep. It's going to be Michigan State. Rutgers is just that bad, man. I can't pick anybody against that team. I can't pick them against anybody, I should say.
This other game's where I'm interested to see what happens.
Yes.
Just because of the current situation going on in Ann Arbor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the game's in Minnesota. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but if they're going to shut down the campus completely,
They've already said football doesn't
it's not getting shut
football
down anyway.
football doesn't get affected by this.
Okay.
No. We live in that world, bro.
See, I was literally driving here, trying to read on my phone what was going on. So I called my sister-in-law, who's a nurse over at U of M, trying to pick her brain on what was up. But
So with that being said, that's the world we live in. The kids are getting sent away from campus. Everything's getting shut down, except for the football team.
Yep.
So,
because that's your moneymaker,
right? I mean,
it's what every kid in high school ever knew.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's the way it is.
The primetime game on ABC is the Michigan Wolverines and the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Joe, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I'll take over this one. So Michigan is actually favored by 3 going into Minnesota, and I don't know if you're rowing a wheelchair or not.
Rowing the boat.
Rowing the boat. Okay. Michigan's favored by 3 going into this game in Minnesota. The over-under is 54.5. Tells me it's going to be a pretty high. They expect it to be a pretty high-scoring game. With that being said, I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think if you were to take a bet in this game, take the under. And I believe Minnesota wins this game outright. I'm taking Minnesota.
Joseph, I will agree with you 100%. I am also taking Minnesota. 2 reasons. One, I don't trust Captain Khaki Pants, and we're both Michigan guys.
Yeah,
and
we
both
are.
said this, we both called for Harbaugh's head for years now because he's not the guy.
Nope.
And not to mention, we got a new quarterback coming in. Joe Milton might be the next coming of God, and that's great. But this is
Depends on who you listen to, whether he is or not.
Right, exactly. Nobody knows what you're going to get out of him. And it's on the road at night. I know there's not going to be fans there, but still, you're playing. Minnesota's not a bad team. You're well coached. As much shit as we like to give PJ Fleck for row the boat nonsense. It's the first game of the season, new quarterback, and again you got Captain Khaki Pants who does not win big games. He just doesn't. He's proven that.
Yep.
So, give me Minnesota.
I was showing you I was rowing the boat earlier. I'm sticking with it. But
you didn't expect that from us, did you?
To be honest with you, I didn't know how you guys were going to go at all. I was trying to do a mixture of things. I was trying to look some stuff up, kind of listening to you guys at the same time. But it's so difficult to pick college sports right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just because, especially like in Michigan's case, who's the quarterback? What are they going to do? Are we going to make it to Saturday? What? It's everything involved in it. There's too many questions.
For me, with Michigan, it's kind of like the Lions' logic a little bit. How the Lions, they don't give you a reason to trust them to do the right thing.
Right.
And it's the same thing with Jim Harbaugh. Big game, he doesn't win them. He just doesn't.
It's true.
So why he's never given me a reason to trust him in a big game. And this, it's the first game of the season, but it's a big game. Like if you start out 0-1, your season's basically fucked.
Oh yeah. Oh,
you know,
absolutely. And I think they're going to start out 0-1.
I think they are as well. I absolutely do.
I will throw this out there though. I think we're probably winding down here, but
yes,
the following week, blue versus green.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Michigan State is next week.
All right.
So obviously, you guys have heard about my newest purchase.
Yes.
Yes.
If Michigan wins,
you gonna wear it
in 2 weeks. I wear that jersey on the show.
Nice.
If Sparty wins,
we
got to come up with something.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
We'll figure out that part for next week.
All right.
But
yeah, that sounds good. I dig it.
We'll get the base of the plan out now.
All right.
I like it.
And
I like it a lot.
Those are the week 7 picks, everybody.
All right. With that being said, we're at the end of the show, fellas. I think it was a good show. I appreciate everybody listening, and I know you guys do as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for everyone who participates, who listens, who watches. Anybody who listens to the podcast version, watches the video version.
And if you guys got questions, send them in. We'll gladly answer them.
Please.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Like, honestly, I kind of enjoy when somebody jumps in
Yeah,
with a
absolutely.
question
For
or
sure.
two.
Yeah,
Because
100%.
we know what we want to talk about.
Yeah, well,
but
there's stuff
we're
you guys wanna
also
know, yeah.
only here if you guys are listening.
Yeah.
So if you guys are listening and you guys want to participate,
Absolutely.
like jump on
Yeah,
in.
don't hesitate to send us any questions.
Well, and to be honest with you, there's also times where we don't know where we're going to go with it. So
That's true.
If you give us a question, we have somewhere where it deviates us and it points us in a direction. So
Yep.
we're definitely appreciate that.
Sometimes Fast and the Furious happens, and you
Yeah.
just totally lose
and,
your
and
ass.
Frank loses his train of thought.
It's not hard for me to do.
Yeah. With that said, again, we're at the end of the show. We appreciate everybody listening. Check us out on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook. Check us out on all your podcast carriers, all your podcast content carriers. We're pretty much on every one of them. So on behalf of Frank Dragata, Chris Scott, and myself, Joe Waddell, thank you for listening, and tune in next week at 7 o'clock for another live show of Sports on Tap.
And that is it for us today.
No! God, please, no!
Bye, have a great time.
No! God!
Bye, guys.
No!
Goodbye.
No!
Goodbye.
No!
It's never goodbye.
You know, we've been through our ups and been through our downs.
You were meant to be here tonight.
You guys will always be in my heart.
Great moments are born from great opportunity.
I think the most important part is that we all stay together throughout.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Live. Fight like hell. The best thing I've ever done, the best thing I will ever do, is be a dad.
God, I love you guys. Mamba out.